Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your NXT Takeover 25 and predictions. I got to tell you guys, for a card that was kind of thrown together at what felt like the last minute, this card looks absolutely exceptional. And the only real concern I have is that I don't know how much longer we're going to have the Undisputed Era to just constantly fall back on in NXT anytime we get into a pinch or a bind. Oh, just put these guys in every match and they'll give us amazing matches across the board. So that's what we're going to get on this show, is just like 3 of these 4 matches are pretty much going to be carried by members of the Undisputed Era. Maybe not carried, but definitely going to be made exceptional because of them. And the other 2, I'm sure, will be very good as well. And honestly, the other 2 I'm also looking forward to a pretty significant degree. But we might as well call this NXT Takeover Undisputed, because every member of the Undisputed Era is in a match, 2 of whom, or I guess 3 of whom, but 2 of the matches, including 3 of the members, are for championships. I gotta tell you, I'm excited about this. I think the match that I'm looking forward to most is the first one, though, which is Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. The other matches being Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch versus the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era versus the Forgotten Sons in a ladder match for the vacant NXT Tag Team titles. And then we've got Velveteen Dream defending the North American title versus Tyler Breeze, Shayna Baszler defending the Women's Championship against Io Shirai, and Johnny Gargano defending the NXT Championship yet again against Adam Cole, baby. So, John, how do you feel about this card, my dude?
Well, let me tell you in your magnificent face exactly how I feel. I look at this from 2 different perspectives, right? One is being completely detached from any kind of emotional investment and kind of just looking at this like purely as, how does this wrestling card look as a wrestling fan? And it looks fucking awesome, right? Like, from that vantage point, my hype is easily like a 9 out of 10. When you factor in what TakeOver 25 has the potential to do to the NXT landscape, and if they take advantage of that potential, because that's always an important distinction. We made that distinction at Money in the Bank, and in some ways it worked, other ways, not so much. But if they really take advantage of what they can do here to the NXT landscape, brother, the hype's a full 10 out of 10 for me. They have a chance to completely redraw the map here, and that's very exciting to me. Easily the match I'm looking forward to most. Well, honestly, like, I'm looking forward to Riddle versus Strong from a wrestling perspective.
That's the one that I'm looking forward to most.
But I feel like from really defining the next era of NXT, it's got to be Cole Gargano too, because they have a chance to correct history in my mind. I'm sorry. Like, I love NXT and I enjoy TakeOver New York, but Gargano being champion, I stand by, was a mistake. And they have a chance to correct that mistake tomorrow night if they get the belt on, since I'm feeling good today, Adam Cole, baby! So it's just a matter of, do you want to do that or not? Now, again, Ashton, that's why I gave 2 different hype levels. Looking at it, forgetting about Cole and redrawing the map and all that stuff, it's still a 9 out of 10. Like, this is a great fucking wrestling card.
Yes.
But when you take into account who you and I are fans of and how you can alter the product going forward, I am salivating for them to just fucking make the play. So, yeah, man, this takeover is everything. I think this is deeper ramifications than I think some people are giving it credit for personally, but I really can't wait to just dive into this and unpack it with you. So whenever you want to get started, I'm ready.
Well, you kind of gave your broad stroke kind of idea of the show, and I got to tell you, man, I'm actually on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. You are expecting like some like weird like revolutionary show where history gets corrected and the landscape of NXT changes. I think the exact opposite is going to happen. I don't expect any title changes, and really like the only title that would change hands, quote unquote, would be the tag titles, because they have to have a winner, obviously.
Right.
I don't expect any of the other titles to change hands, which is I mean, yeah, it's a spoiler, but I'll explain why when we actually get to our predictions. But yeah, man, like this, as much as I would love to jump on your hype train and just be like, oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. The Undisputed Era are going to win all the titles. Io's going to be a champion. I just don't see it coming, unfortunately.
Right. And hey, man, like we always tell each other, that's totally understandable. Like that conservatism, like that disposition of like, I think they're just going to keep play it kind of safe, keep the champions as they are. Again, sans the tag titles because you need new champions because of the circumstances. I get that. I hope you're wrong. I really do.
So do I, but I don't expect to be.
Right. Well, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
And the first match that we're going to be talking about is the only non-title match on this card, which is Riddle versus Strong. And oh my God, I can't wait for this match, but I do expect Riddle to win.
Dude, I hope this is the opener. One, because this is how you get a crowd hot.
And I expect the ladder match to be the opener, honestly.
That's a fair assessment. But I feel like because this is a non-championship match, I hope they give it the opener for that reason. Plus, I feel like opening matches, they usually get a good bit of time. And I want these guys to get fucking time. Like I have said on, when we've live reacted or when we reviewed NXT, which now anymore, we just like live react to it, which I love. But like I've said before, that I feel like Roderick Strong is one of the more innovative performers of his generation with how he takes the backbreaker, which is something I think you learn in like Wrestling 101. And he's elevated it to like an art form. And Riddle, oh my God. I know you liked a tweet that I had like a few weeks ago about Riddle where like he has the look, he has the legitimacy, he has everything. You just need to cue the printer to start printing the fucking money. That's really all you need to do. The guy is a beast. I have been high on Riddle really ever since I like retreaded ground and I'm like, okay, let me rewatch this guy's stuff. And then I really just started to get it. I'm like, oh my God, I see now like why this dude's so freaking good. And I told you, and I told a lot of people, whatever company he goes with, it's going to be insane rookie year. And I don't really see that slowing down. I think this is going to be a barn burner. I think this might actually be kind of an underappreciated match of the year contender. Like I think it'll be in everybody's kind of pile, but it'll be at the very bottom of the pile when we think about the bigger matches we got this year. But I think these guys are going to show out, dude. I am so stoked for this. But just to cut right to the chase, I definitely see Riddle winning this. I think Riddle's actually getting ready to be positioned for a maybe an NXT championship rub in the coming months. And losing to Strong would be kind of contrary to those interests. So I feel like he kind of has to win here. So Matt Riddle for the win.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I did already pick Riddle, so I think we can kind of move on. I will say though, like I've been saying, this to me is the most like holy shit match of the year candidate on this in this entire card, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, dude, this is gonna be nuts.
Because we've already seen Cole and Gargano go 2 out of 3 falls. I can't imagine them topping that. Dream and Breeze is going to be really good, but that's also going to be more character driven. The ladder match is probably going to be too chaotic for me to really consider that a match of the year. But Riddle Strong is just straight up like, let's just go out there and put on a fucking 5-star classic.
Yes, absolutely, dude.
Speaking of the ladder match being chaotic, though, let's talk about the ladder match. We've got Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch, the Street Profits, Undisputed Era themselves, and the Forgotten Sons vying for the vacant NXT tag titles. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, brother. I don't love this. Really, I don't even think I like this. I don't like this match at all. I don't like that I mean, you might as well just call them Lurch, but it's Lorcan and Burch. I don't like that they're getting a shot here. I don't feel like they've earned it. I don't like that the Street Profits are getting a shot considering they literally just lost to the fucking Viking Raiders a couple weeks ago. And I really don't like that the Forgotten Sons are getting a shot because they lost to the Undisputed Era in the finals. Didn't they lose to the Undisputed Era at some point in the Dusty Classic or something like that? I don't even remember, honestly. But
right, yeah.
They definitely didn't win the Dusty Classic, even though they had an opportunity to. I think they might have made the finals and lost to Ricochet and Black. But, like, I just feel like there are a lot of very undeserving teams in this match. And I don't really know if there would be a better way to do it. But to me, the only team here that really feels like NXT Tag Team Championship material right fucking now is the Undisputed Era, O'Reilly and Fish. So I'm going to pick them.
Brother, first of all, let me just tell you, I am completely sympathetic to your sentiments about this ladder match. To me, this match came together due to very unfortunate circumstances because the War Raiders, I'm guessing that's just because that you agree with me to an extent, I hope.
Well, yeah, because you had these guys that you like built up over time, gave them a shot at the titles. They won the titles and they had them for what, like 2 or 3 months? I don't even know if they got to defend them at any point.
Yeah, I mean, War Raiders only really did defend him against Ricochet and Black at that one takeover New York. And then they defended him against Street Profits before vacating him, but that was freaking it. And like, see, that's kind of what I want to get to on my side of analysis for this match. the tag division's in a very precarious place to me because you could tell, dude, that before Vince fucked everything up, Vince and fucking things up, name a more iconic duo, they were really going to build the division around the War Raiders. I'm not just talking about because they were the champions, but like they were a legitimate force in the division. It's one thing to hold the titles. It's another thing to like be a legitimate obstacle. And War Raiders were both. And so, I feel like they were going to carry that next generation of tag teams. And honestly, like, I know you're not big on Forgotten Sons, sans Jackson Riker, who I know you do like. Yeah. But I don't know if if NXT would have built them up over time to be really credible. If another team would have come in from outside NXT, if they would have signed a deal and they would have come in. But I feel like if Vince hadn't interrupted the flow of things, we'd probably be looking at like a 6 to 8 month title reign for the War Raiders, at least with the tag titles.
Yeah.
And the thing is, just to kind of continue on that point, you and I have been fans of them for a long time. They have a big fan base. They're a great fucking team. That void is incredibly huge to fill, because when you go from the vision for a tag division where War Raiders are your champions to, okay, they're gone, we need a new vision, and these are our 4 best options. I mean, I 100% agree with you. If you want anything even comparable to the era that you were going to have with the War Raiders, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Undisputed Era, they're your best fucking bet. I mean, look, I'm going to be truthful. I like Forgotten Sons. I'd pop emotionally, like, as a fan if they won. But looking at the tag division long term, do these seem like guys that can have credible tag, or not even credible, but like really engaging and enthralling tag team championship matches at takeovers? I don't necessarily think so. I don't care for Street Profits, and you know that. I think Montez Ford is the star, and I understand why he's in a tag team. But when he's ready to break out on his own, it's going to be a great fucking day for all of us. And Lorcan and Burch, I really like Oney Lorcan. I honestly want Oney in the North American Championship picture. I even said that on our most recent live reactions to NXT, the Go Home show. So you're looking at 3 teams that, like, I have my concerns about all 3, and yet Undisputed Era is the only one holding it down. So yeah, I'm going to go Undisputed Era. Do I think they'll win? Yeah, I've been kind of leaning towards that. But do I think they should win? Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. So I'm going to go UE just like you. I'm going to say Undisputed Era win this, and hopefully we can kind of rehabilitate the tag division in the absence of the War Raiders. So,
I actually have quite a bit to say about this. So I already talked about how I feel like there aren't really any deserving teams in this match other than Undisputed Era, just because they're former tag team champions. Do you know what they could have done with this that would have made it really interesting, to me at least?
What's that, brother?
You could have had a tournament, an 8-team tournament where you have 4 teams in it that have never won NXT tag titles before, and then 4 former NXT tag team champion teams. So on the newbie side, on the side that has never won the tag titles before, you could have already had the 3 teams that are in this match that haven't won the titles before: Forgotten Sons, Lorcan and Burch, and Street Profits. And then you could have put in like Humberto Carrillo and Raul Mendoza, or someone like that, like a team that we know have teamed in the past that aren't like on NXT super regularly, but would have made sense. Or you could have even put like an NXT UK team in there, like fucking
European Union, right?
European Union would have worked. Grizzled Young Vets would have been cool.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, whatever the new, I forget the name of it, but the basically the new fucking ring comp. Like, I forget what Walter's new faction's called.
Oh, Imperium.
Thank you. Yeah, you could have even used a team from there. But you get those 4 teams on one side of the bracket, and then on the other side of the bracket, you get Undisputed Era, and those guys would still end up making it to the finals, and that would be like the big title match on the pay-per-view. But you can also bring in the fucking Mustache Mountain guys. You can also bring, from the main roster, the Revival and the Ascension. Have the Revival and the Ascension put over Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era. Have Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era put on another fucking classic that we know they always do. Have Undisputed Era win and go on to face the winner of the newbie bracket for the titles. That would have made it feel like it was actually earned by a team other than Undisputed Era.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you, man. I feel like, let me just scoot in here. I feel like you could have had more of an investment here. I mean, I like your idea too, like about like more established teams. Like think about the teams on the main roster that they're really not using, which oddly enough, War Raiders would be on that list because where the fuck have they been? Like,
dude, they haven't had a match for almost a month.
Yeah.
They have not been on Monday Night Raw since they beat Ryder and Hawkins, and neither have Ryder and Hawkins. Your tag team champions on Raw haven't been on the show in almost a month. It's been 4 weeks.
Like, we're throwing names out here, and I'm only saying this because they used to be like really white hot in NXT until they became a fucking joke. You could bring the Ascension back together and be like,
I said that. I literally said the Revival and the Ascension.
Yeah, like you could do all of that, and I don't know. They pick these 4 teams, which I don't know. To me, oh god, I feel like they've wanted to push the Street Pro. Like if UE was out of the equation, if Fish and O'Reilly were out of the equation,
I would pick Forgotten Sons.
And see me, I'm kind of.
I wouldn't be stoked about it, but I just feel like that would be the team that just seems the most likely to win. And
yeah, and see, like my ranking would be like UE 1, Street Profits 2, Forgotten Sons 3, and then Lorcan and Burch like dead last. Because I feel like they've wanted to push.
Lorcan and Burch feel like the definition of filler in this match.
They really do. They really.
And really, I mean, you could have even had them be like, you could have Lorcan and Burch versus the Forgotten Sons as like a semifinal or a quarterfinal match in that tournament that I said. Like you could have, because those are the teams that really hate each other right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Humberto Carrillo was involved in it. Like it should have been a 6-man tag on this takeover.
Yeah, for sure.
It should have been Lorcan, Burch, and Carrillo versus all 3 members of the Forgotten Sons. And then you could have done Street Profits or it would have had to be Street Profits. You could have done Street Profits. I'm forgetting something, aren't I? No, I'm not. No, yeah. You could have done Street Profits versus Undisputed Era. Like, I think you and I are expecting Undisputed Era to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if any team other than Lorcan and Burch won, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
I would be disappointed if any team other than Undisputed Era won, just because, again, like I said, it doesn't really feel like any of them are at that level from a credibility standpoint.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised by it either. So
right. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, let's move on to a much less disappointing championship match. Velveteen Dream defending the North American Championship against a newly returned to NXT, and from what I understand, it's an official move, like an actual roster move, Tyler Breeze.
Oh my god, what an addition, and I'm so happy for Breeze and all of his fans. Dude's great. I think this is going to be a match. It's so funny that we're like heaping all this praise on Riddle and Strong, and no doubt that they're going to show out, but in terms of like a character-based match and just like creating moments in a match, I feel like Velveteen Dream and Breeze are probably going to give us something like a lot of fun to chew on.
Like I said, this is going to be a very character-driven match, and I'm going to love it because Dream always does that. Breeze always did that. Breeze is also like, especially because he's in more of the babyface role here, he's always been so good at hope spots, you know?
Oh, dude, totally. And like, I hope they kind of work that in the story, because to me as a fan watching this, like, Breeze needs this. Like, he needs to show out, even if he doesn't necessarily win, he needs to remind everybody how fucking good he is. Because God knows, like, WWE has done everything they can to make people forget it with his presence on the main roster. Love their interaction together. Loved Breeze's final line. Oh, if you hand your phone number out and you don't get called back, that means they're not interested. Bam! Right to the face. It's cool. And especially knowing, I will say this, I've kind of waffled a little bit on this match, believe it or not, because the roster move is permanent. Like, if we knew that this was Breeze just making a pit stop, you know, wanting to do something, you know, that'd be one thing. It would be an easy pick for Dream. But I have struggled a little bit with this, knowing that Breeze is just gonna be on the main roster, or not the main roster, but just the NXT roster fully again, which, I mean, good for him. I mean, I know he probably liked the bank account increase, you know, on the main roster. He even explicitly tweeted that, like, oh, my bank account's doing fine. But, you know, I want to see the man perform. I want to see him do what he's fucking good at. And I think this is going to be a fun match. So I think ultimately I will stick with Dream to retain, but I'll be the first one to tell you guys, I would not be surprised if Tyler Breeze became North American champion on Saturday. I think that might just be an upset that like we don't see coming. And yeah, I don't see him like holding it for very long if he does. But yeah, it just is like
if that does happen, Dream is either headed to the main roster or main event.
Yeah. And I would assume,
and I don't mean the main event show, I mean the main event of NXT.
Exactly. And I would assume up to the main event division. But I am picking Dream, so we won't need to speculate that far. But again, would not be surprised by a Breeze victory if I'm truthful. So how are you feeling about this match? I want to get your thoughts.
I'm kind of treating it as if Breeze is just here for a hiccup. Like I'm just like, okay, well, sure he's in NXT, but when Fandango returns, will he still be in NXT?
Yeah.
So I'm picking Dream to retain.
All right, understandable.
Actually, like I didn't waffle on this nearly as much as you did.
All right, well, hey, nothing wrong with being straightforward, but here comes one of the big ones because we're down to our final two matches.
Yeah, we're down to our world title matches, basically, the women's and the men's. So we've got Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Women's Championship against Io Shirai, and this is one of those instances. I feel like I feel like I do this maybe like once on every preview and predictions. I am making this prediction based on my own mental health. I am making a pick where if I'm right, I can be happy about being right, even if I'm not happy about the result. But if I'm wrong, I won't give a shit about being wrong because I'll be that happy about the result. I'm picking Shayna to retain.
All right. I've got to say, now I have not seen, nor have you, this video package that Dark Star's been talking about. I want to go find it. I'm hoping maybe it's on the YouTube channel that we can go and watch it together, like after we're done here.
Yeah.
But according to them, they said that the video package kind of posited this as a do or die situation for Io. And we already know that Candice is going to have Io's back, and you can already foretell that Jessamine and Marina, I mean, Shayna practically telegraphed it by saying that she still has her friends. So it's going to be, I'm hoping that this match isn't like needlessly overbooked. I'd really just prefer these two women to go out and wrestle, especially given their stardom history and everything. Yeah. I want them to just go out and do the fucking thing. Because if they keep this to a straight wrestling match, this is going to be fucking awesome. Like I'm definitely looking forward to it. But of course, Shayna is a heel champion, and she's got the backup and everything. So I have no doubt that'll come into play. Ultimately, and it's unfortunate. I don't know if you said this on NXT Live Reactions or if this was a Rocket League session that you and I had that wasn't broadcast on Twitch, but I know you said that you ultimately felt like Candice was going to be the next NXT Women's Champion. That she,
dude, yeah, I do feel like that's the most likely result, but I also feel like there is a real story for Dakota Kai when she comes back to go after Shayna as well. It's like Shayna still has all of these potential opponents lined up, and if Io wins the title, who would challenge her? Like, I can't imagine they would do too many face versus face matches with like, Candice and like Tegan Nox when she comes back and stuff like that. So like, who are the top heels in the NXT women's division that aren't Shayna or one of her cronies?
I mean, because the way I look at it, there are two.
Lacey Evans is gone.
There are two options for Io if she wins the title. And I like one a hell of a lot more than I like the other, but these are the only two valid options. One, she wins it. She drops it. Her first title defense back, like Kyrie did at Evolution, right back to Shayna or to another performer. And I hate that idea. I would honestly rather, for Io's credibility, her just not win the title at all than to have such a weak run with it. Two, she turns heel while she's champion. But I don't even know how you would facilitate that heel turn. But I think you get a heel Io. Especially
I could see her turning heel after losing this match because it's like this was like my last hope, and she hits like a kind of bottom of the barrel kind of place in her life, like rock bottom. Like I could see her turning heel after losing this, and we've seen examples of champions like Asuka is a perfect example where they're so caught up in making sure that they stay champion that they start to get very heelish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what I'm rooting more for. Io to win the title, or if I trusted NXT's writing, which I do to a large degree, Io to turn heel, because she lost the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
She lost in New York.
Yep.
I mean, she was again here, like, you're fucking Io Shirai.
I mean, dude, she lost to Sonya fucking Deville.
She did. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that was bad. But yeah. Like you're Io. Oh, she lost that battle royal to Bianca Belair in that same set of shit. Yeah, like you're Io fucking Shirai. Like
it's almost like they don't know what they have in her.
And that could be true. That's sad in itself, but they could potentially redeem it and kind of rehabilitate it. Like if they incorporate it like as a narrative device, like all I've been doing since I've gotten here, and it's been my dream to wrestle for WWE, because that's what they said in the Mae Young Classic like video package. My dream to wrestle in WWE. And all that dream has been is crap. Like I gotta change things around here. And especially, dude, here's the thing. If she loses to Shayna here and then Candice would go on to win, imagine what that would do to a performer the pride of Io Shirai.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is Io would be like, whoever the babyface is to beat Shayna, I almost feel like Io would be the first heel to go after them after their feud with Shayna ends.
Yeah. Do I want the heel run or do I want her to just be champion? I honestly think I want the heel because we've seen her as a heel in Stardom and she is like, no nonsense, will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
I think I'm rooting for Shayna here. All contingent on Io turning heel after the fact. If they don't do anything with Io after this, that's a fucking shame. Which is why I don't know. I don't know what the better option is. But going what I think will happen, which is why we're really here, I unfortunately agree with you that I think Shayna's going to retain. I can only hope that they do.
I'm going to be rooting my ass off for Io without a doubt. But I'm
of course.
From like a logic and like I said, mental health standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, absolutely, dude. No, I totally get that. I hope they do right by Io because she's like one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I don't even feel like they've really tapped into that, honestly. And can I just say too, I really like your idea throwing Dakota Kai out there because I have been unable to get into her, but everybody loves a comeback story. Like, and she's so good.
And we also can't forget that there is going to be another Mae Young Classic this year. They're planning on another Mae Young Classic this year.
Right.
So I would expect Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, assuming they're back in time, to both be in that. And hell, if they're in opposite sides of the bracket, I might even pick them to be the finals.
Right.
I don't know. Or make it to the semis, and maybe one of them wins, one of them loses, and then whoever wins faces the heel that beat the other in the finals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like super stoked about the idea of another Mae Young Classic this year, but I don't know when it's going to be. And I don't know if the winner is going to get a women's championship match because Io sure as hell didn't earn a women's championship match by winning. Or no, she didn't win it either. Who won the Mae Young Classic last year?
Last year,
2018.
Kyrie was the first winner.
2018.
2018. That was Tony Storm.
Tony won it. That's right. Io lost to Tony. That's right. I know Kyrie won the first one. I don't question that.
Right.
So I always feel like Io won the second one and she didn't. She lost to Tony. Oh God. See, that's what I mean though. Like it's almost like they value Kyrie more than they value Io. And like, I know that from your perspective, that's like, well, yeah, of course they do. Kyrie's perfect. But I'm just like,
no, I get what you mean though, man. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it's lots riding on this, man. I don't know.
NXT is very much in a limbo right now to me. It's like they lost their tag team champions. They lost half of their main event scene. They lost more than half of their main event scene, honestly. They lost 2/3 of their main event scene and a future main eventer when they lost Ciampa to injury and then Black and Ricochet to call-ups. And now fucking Black is just getting goddamn talking segments every SmackDown, and Ricochet's losing to mid-carders every week.
Yeah.
What the fuck ever on that. Like, you really couldn't let them just be in NXT and have their runs and actually be made into stars on one promotion inside your gigantic promotion before turning them into mid-carders and jokes and not showing them up on TV on your main roster. Like, fuck off, Vince. I fucking hate him.
I know. He's fucking
I don't know if there is a person. I guess politicians. Fuck it. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. Let's just...
There you go. Wow, that became more depressing than I thought it would. Well, here's to hoping for a solid NXT Women's Championship match. But now our main event, Cole versus Gargano 2 for the NXT Championship.
No, I know what you're picking here. I know that you're picking Cole to win.
Yes.
Here's my thing, John. I am like a fucking cardinal in this cult. I am like among the top ranking officials. You know that, right?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Being realistic though, if NXT puts the title on Cole now, they're basically admitting that they fucked up putting it on Gargano in the first place.
Counterpoint, if I may. They may not have a choice. I've heard that Gargano is dealing with a knee injury, and I think we maybe should talk about that. I don't know the extent of the knee injury.
Wait, what?
Yeah, last I heard, Gargano was dealing with some kind of a knee injury. Can anybody substantiate that for me?
I didn't know that at all. I haven't seen anything about that in the news.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's my understanding. Now, I could be completely off base with that. Even if I wasn't, now obviously this is colored by bias because I'm rooting for Cole. I don't have to explain that to anybody. But then again, this isn't a fucking congressional committee. It's a fucking wrestling channel. I don't see the problem with admitting a mistake if it improves the long-term quality of your product. Like,
look, dude, you and I agree on that point, but it's not what we think. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters how they feel. And if they feel like they don't want to admit to that mistake and they would rather just move forward with Gargano as champion because they saw the good in the first place and they're trying to double down on their reasoning as to why it was a good thing in the first place, then they're going to do it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Like, because again, like, I know emotionally you're going to be rooting your ass off for Cole, same as me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm straight up, like, I'm picking Riddle, Undisputed, and honestly, picking Undisputed Era to win the tag titles might be more of an emotional pick than a logical pick, because if I was going purely based on logic, I might go for Street Profits or Forgotten Sons there. I don't know. But I'm picking Riddle, I'm picking Undisputed Era, I'm picking Dream, I'm picking Shayna, and I'm picking Johnny, all to retain. Those are all logic picks. I'm going to be rooting for Riddle, Undisputed Era, so that's consistent. But then I'm probably going to be rooting for Breeze because I want to see Dream either on the main roster or in the main event. And then in the last two matches, I'm absolutely going to be rooting against the people that I picked to win. I'm 100% behind Io and Adam, but I'm not expecting them to win. And I don't want to get my expectations up, because that's how you get let down.
Yeah. It's really depressing that the WWE product has left us this way. Just wow.
And again, it all comes back to the fucking call-ups. The fucking call-ups have just ruined I am honestly, John, I wish we could go back to Takeover New York and just redo that show with different results.
Brother, totally.
I would put the women's title on Kyrie so that she would be like basically like less likely to get called up. Like, I would want to try and like lock her down to NXT for another few months. I would put the obviously Adam Cole would beat Johnny with all the cheating that went on. Johnny wouldn't overcome all that bullshit. And I don't know who even challenged for the tag titles. It was Black and Ricochet. So obviously you'd have to keep on War Raiders. So you couldn't do anything about it. But like, at the very least, those two things would make things so much better. Because, we could have Io Kyrie here in a rematch, and then we could have Io Kyrie. Did I say that already? I meant we could have Shayna Kyrie here in a rematch, and then we could have Io Kyrie at Toronto.
Yeah.
Wins the title there. And like, I would just love that so much more. And this show feels so like thrown together, and like they weren't expecting it to happen, and they weren't really expecting it to happen this soon. And like, NXT might be good again in 2020, but I'm not expecting it to be like, I'm sure the matches will still be amazing because they always fucking are. But story-wise and like decision-making wise, they always go through some turmoil after big call-ups happen. And the last time big call-ups happened to this degree was like the women's call-up in 2014 or 2015 or whenever it was, when Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte all got called up at the same time.
Right.
And immediately following that, it was like, let's just put the title on Bayley and eventually have her lose in a face versus face match where the audience is rooting for her and against the woman that's beating her for the title. And then let's just keep the title on that other woman for like a year plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their decision making immediately following a big like gutting, like a big series of call-ups that make them lose a really important part of their roster. They almost never make the right decisions right away. And it usually takes like up to a year for them to finally get their feet underneath them again. And it's really unfortunate because like we've lost pretty much all of the most important tag teams. Like the days the Glory tag team days are long gone. Like we're not getting American Alpha, we're not getting Revival, we're not getting DIY anytime soon. So those days are long gone. But even like the next best thing as far as recent years goes with Undisputed Era, Mustache Mountain, NXT UK has kind of ruined that idea because now Mustache Mountain primarily wrestles in the UK, and Undisputed Era are another one. Like, how have they not been called up yet? I'm sorry, but they should have been called up post-Mania. Dude, Vince ruins everything because you call them up on the post-Mania Raw, and then not only am I not complaining about how awful and uneventful the post-Mania Raw is, but then you get a real actual reset button with your tag division in NXT, and we don't have to have this conversation about it.
Right. Yeah. It's a shame though, because like if Undisputed Era was called up, I so just again for long-term health of the business over fandom, I would have been pushing so hard for Cole to win Money in the Bank, and Vince probably still would have gone with fucking Brock.
It would have been Brock no matter what, but yeah, it just would have been that much more stupid and devastating and obnoxious.
And like that's kind of the thing, man. Like I look at that. We're talking about like admissions. Like, oh, if Cole won the belt, that they'd be admitting they made a mistake. This card to me is an admission. Like, yeah, guys, those call ups fucked our shit up. So enjoy what we're together. Because
it really is too. Because
here's the thing. Like Takeover 25. No, what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say not only is it like you were about to say like, oh, it's Takeover 25. Like they didn't even bother giving it a proper name, and it took them like. They had to like call in favors to get the venue that they're going to be in because this was last minute too. Like they didn't plan on having this takeover this early. I think that the plan was for the takeover to be like 1 or 2 weeks later. Like I could have sworn the original plan was for the takeover to be on, I want to say Saturday the 8th of June. So it would have been a week later. So they had to like express mail that too. Like they had to call that and call in some favors just to get the venue on the date that they got it. And they had it planned for being on a different day. And yeah, the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view fucked everything up because Vince ruins everything. I say it again. But yeah, so like not only are we dealing with a fucked roster because Vince just randomly decided, hey, give me your 4 biggest stars. And then like, oh yeah, by the way, also give me your best tag team and your most over babyface female over the last like 5 months. Gutted. And not only that, but before then he was also just like, oh yeah, give me this like up-and-coming mid-card heel woman and this up-and-coming mid-card heel dude who's actually kind of getting over, not heel, but an up-and-coming mid-card like babyface dude in EC3 who was actually really getting over in NXT, like big time, so that I can do literally nothing with him for months, and give us this really over babyface mid-card tag team that could have been in this ladder match that could have made it more interesting. And yeah, then let's also take this legitimizer woman that all these women have had to face and beat in order to get into the NXT Women's Championship picture. Like, they are absolutely fucked because of Vince's call-ups. First, he gutted the mid-card, and we were like, oh, well, at least he only took mid-carders, and he let us keep all these awesome main event talents. And then he was like, you know what? Give me your 4 biggest stars, too, and your best tag team, and your best female. Fuck you.
Yeah. And yeah, just Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Pretty much like the last 6-7 months. That's the story. That right there. Like he's completely gutted NXT and they're still going to put on a great fucking show. Like I don't expect any dud matches on that. Like I expect every one of these matches to be rated like 3.5 stars or better by Dave Meltzer. I am expecting it to be a genuinely great show. It's just the long-term storytelling got fucked. And the long-term storytelling really got fucked even harder by Ciampa's injury, which got added by him working on the main roster. Oh, my
But yeah, as I was to kind of take the ball back, like me saying like this whole card is an admission that their shit got fucked up. I mean, the idea of like this is our 25th takeover, they'd want to make a bigger deal of it than what they were able to because of all the conflicts. Like, for as great as this takeover is going to be, you'd think it would have a more epic feel to it than it does going into it. And that is one thing I will say against this paper, which again isn't like this scathing indictment, right? It's just an observation. Like 25 takeover, and you think like they just make a big deal. But like they have been like scrambling to get it all together because they had to move the dates around, the venue and this and that, like you just got done saying.
Yeah.
And to me, and here's another thing. Another reason why, if we're really being blunt about it and we're really being frank, one reason why I think you should just give the show to fucking the Undisputed Era isn't just because I think it'd be a really cool fucking concept and they'd be the first big faction to do it when I thought Sanity was going to do it and that was a fucking bust. And they all have the charisma and the ability to do it. But like, really, if you were to ever put your chips down on Undisputed Era, it's fucking now, because I feel like they can stop the bleeding or at the very least slow it while you get your shit together. Like if you give these guys this shit, because look, Ashton, I agree with you. The idea that Adam Cole isn't on the main roster, the idea that we're not even like talking about him potentially ending Kofi's WWE title reign right now is honestly, to me, kind of mind-boggling, to be truthful.
Yeah. Especially because like Vince is supposed to like him. Vince, like, that was the big rumor, was that Vince specifically wanted to work with Adam Cole at the Royal Rumble a couple years ago, and he specifically wanted Adam Cole, like, by name. He asked for Adam Cole to be in the Royal Rumble, and now like all of a sudden it's like however many years later, and it's reached the point that it's like, wait, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era have actually gotten to the point that they, like, we're asking why they haven't been called up yet. Like, it's been that long.
There are three options that I see when it comes to that. One, that rumor was a dud.
Yeah.
Two, Vince is so old he forgot that he even liked Adam Cole in the first place. Three, and this is the craziest one of them all, because there's no fucking way Vince is this compassionate. He said to himself, Adam, you're a really talented guy and you're a really virile man like me. You're a total alpha, not like the rest of the betas in the locker room. So I'm going to protect you, even from me. And he just kept him in NXT. But I highly fucking doubt it.
Or alternatively, his mind changed, which we know happens often. And he's just...
That is true. What
Adam Cole just did something or said something in a way that just rubbed Vince the wrong way. And he's just like, you know what? I don't know what I saw in him. He just doesn't got it.
Vince is walking by. Wait a minute. Is that Adam Cole? Is he eating a salad? Mid-Carter for life. And he just fucks. Fucking, I don't know. He's so full of shit. I hate him so much. But look, the fact is, we're not dealing with Undisputed Era on the main roster. I wish we were, because you and I both fantasy booked them to like, you couldn't go wrong with these fucking guys if you gave them the fucking reins. They didn't. That's our
you can't say that. Maybe you and I couldn't go wrong with these guys because we do our best to actually, make them credible and make them look good and give them opportunities to really be stars. But you can't say that WWE couldn't go wrong with them. WWE got fucking Dean Ambrose wrong. They got fucking well, they haven't gotten Kairi Sane wrong yet. I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back. But they got Ambrose wrong. They still haven't really done justice by Baszler. Like, how many times have we said, Vince, if you fuck this up, we will literally murder you? And then he finally...
And all this time later, he's like, still alive, fuckers.
Yeah.
God damn it. No, man, I get what you're saying. They have a real... like, dude, quick aside, like, not even necessarily related to anything, but just to show you what a fucking dumpster fire it is. Chris is talking to me, like, about Karma, actually, of all people, because I guess he had heard something about her, like, working other shows, and, like, about her WWE experience, and about how, like, somebody tried to get her blackballed from the E for, like, quote-unquote, like, faking her, whatever. So I don't know, like, where he heard all this, but then we got into a discussion of WWE's issues. When I told him that they have 37 writers for both shows, the look on his face, he was like, what?
Who's this
now? Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were talking about it today.
I didn't know you talked to him about wrestling. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, he was actually a wrestling fan. Like, Rey Mysterio used to be, like, his favorite. I think he was more, like, Ruthless Aggression era and stuff like that, like me, but then he kind of fell out of it. He had the good sense to get out before it just all went to shit.
Yeah, he jumped off a sinking ship right at the perfect time.
Exactly. But when I told him that they got up to, like, 37 writers and that, like, it doesn't even matter because Vince is the final say on anything, the look on his face, dude. I mean, I'm not going to say it was actually, no, I will say the look on his face. If we put a dollar amount to it, Vince's fucking net worth, baby. Like, it was fucking priceless. He could not believe it. He could not believe it. And, it's amazing to me because look, fine. If Raw and SmackDown were, whatever, that's whatever. But when it starts interfering with the NXT product with these call-ups, then we really get defensive. And I don't know, because then we can even say, right, oh, well, the next generation that comes up, the Dianas and this male talent, but then what happens when they get called up? Like, I feel like we're.
I was even going to say, do you think that we're going to get anyone in the crowd here? Because I mean, we've seen now from the NXT, the Performance Center Combine that Stephon Strickland and Albert Hardy Jr. and all these guys are officially like they're in the mix, like they were participating in the combine and shit, and they're considered like newbies, like they were in the new group. So I'm wondering if anyone is going to be in the crowd out of that group.
I'm hoping Strickland is.
Yeah, but we were also hoping Strickland would be in the crowd for New York, and that didn't really work out.
Yeah, our dreams really don't matter, do they?
I get the feeling they're really not going to know what they have in him.
Yeah. Wait, is Javaris here? Okay, I don't think
he's going to be like he's going to be like another one of those guys, like a Hideo almost, where like there's this talent that you've got on your roster that you never really allow to be anything more than a mid-carder that could easily be one of your stars, that he just never gets that opportunity.
Okay, I'm going to ask everybody in the room that nobody tell Javaris, okay? One of us needs to have fucking hope that this is going to go well. I
hope I'm wrong, because
you and me both, dude.
He's legitimately my favorite signing that they've made, probably since Riddle, or at least since like Keith Lee, I would say.
Yeah, dude, he's so good.
No, I like him more than Keith Lee, so I will say since Riddle.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Dude, I think TakeOver 25 is going to be a really fun show, like you said.
That's the thing. Like, we've spent so much of this, like, doom and gloom and, like, fuck Vince and everything's awful, but this show is going to be amazing. I can't emphasize enough how excited I am for this show, and especially, like, just actually, like, getting to the matches. Like, the matches are going to be so good. I'm not worried about this show at all. I'm not worried about the quality of this show, not one bit. The only thing that I am worried about coming out of the show is storylines. Where do we go from here? And it's also like, the tag team is like, I don't know about that. Like the tag team division is really shoddy right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Look, in a vacuum, I don't have a single care about this show. Like, negatively, I mean, like, I have no fears, no whatever. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. But in the context of a broader WWE system, and even more microcosmically to your point, like the storylines, there is a bit of concern, because now you've got to usher in the next generation. Where the fuck is Deonna Purrazzo? Where's Lacey Lane? Like, just even focusing on the women. Tag teams. Are you bringing in new tag teams from outside? Because it seems like you're fucking signing everybody else. Like what is after today? What is tomorrow? Like, what's waiting for us here? And I think that question becomes,
I mean, if Dijakovic and Keith Lee weren't fucking constantly injured, I would love Team Monstars to be going into the tag team division. That'd be crazy. And
dude,
that might have even been their plan. But again, another example of them getting kind of fucked over by a lack. So funny, dude. Not funny, but like it's so, I don't know, serendipitous, I want to say, that WWE complained that their first quarter earnings weren't good because of talent absence. And like literally the only talents that were absent were either A, Brock, who you allowed to be absent based on the number of dates that you haven't fucking signed to, and B, John Cena, who's actually retired now. And with NXT, like they have all the excuses in the world. They have Ciampa's out on injury. They've been getting everyone like every which way in every division getting called up. Now we've got Dijakovic out on an injury. He might be out for a few months because his injury seemed pretty significant. And do they complain? Do they talk about, we were dealing with talent absences? No, they just keep moving forward and they find bodies to replace other bodies.
Yes. God, this loop. Jesus Christ.
And let's be real. There is an argument to be made that Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black were as important, if not more important, to NXT as a brand than John Cena and Brock Lesnar are to WWE as a brand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I even saw a tweet from Ciampa recently talking about how much he misses wrestling and misses Goldie, and like my fucking heart. I'm like, and that's another thing too. Like, we look at the NXT Championship. That's another reason why I want Gargano. Because look, I'm sorry. Gargano as a wrestler, great. I'd even say to a certain level, Gargano as a character, like when he's allowed to like cut promos and show some depth, like when he was kind of toying with the dark side a little bit, entertaining shit.
Yeah.
But let's all just be honest here, at least for me, because I get that it's all subjective at the end of the day. But seriously, Gargano's no Ciampa. Ciampa made that fucking championship, and like I feel like the closest. And hey, like you said, I'm back in the cult. And this is just me prefacing right. I'm a fan of Cole. I'm sorry, but even Cole, like, he's a better NXT champion than Gargano, but I really wish that Ciampa, I mean, he was going to drop the belt regardless in New York, I'm convinced. But, like, he was the best thing to happen to that title. And now I just feel like that's why we need Cole, because I love champions with personalities that are big and that feel like world champions. And Gargano just doesn't feel like that to me. And if that's the horse they're really going to back, what you mentioned storylines, right? That was a concern that you said you had. What storylines do you fucking do? Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. To me, Cole must win tomorrow. I'm sorry. It's like, if you want any kind of hopeful, like, fun future for the NXT championship.
I mean, yeah, Adam Cole as champion definitely has the most potentially fun matches, just because, like, with Gargano, like, who is there? Like, a heel Velveteen Dream against Johnny Gargano? Like, are we really that into that? Like, I want Dream to stay face. I like cheering for Dream. I like liking Dream.
Yeah.
So, who as a heel, like Jackson Riker? Like, fucking really? You want to go there? Like, who as a heel would make sense to challenge Johnny Gargano post Adam Cole? Nobody.
Exactly.
So realistically, this is why I've been saying, and why you and I agreed back at TakeOver New York, they never should have put the title on Gargano anyway. Gargano never should have beaten anyone not named Tommaso Ciampa for that NXT championship. If Ciampa gets hurt, you need to call a fucking audible. Take the whole idea of Johnny Gargano winning the NXT title off the fucking table and rewrite the main title picture from then. Because Tommaso Ciampa was the absolute centerpiece of that story, and his injury would prevent him from being able to drop that title to Gargano. That's when you needed to call the audible, because you do not have more than one or two credible heels now that Ciampa is gone, and you don't need a babyface champion at the top. Gargano is an amazing, scrappy underdog babyface, and I love Gargano. He was literally my fucking superstar of the year in like 2018 or 2017 or something like that. He was literally my superstar of the year. You can go back and watch our awards show. I gave him my superstar of the year. He was my number one guy. And yet I still don't think he should be the NXT champion, specifically because of the fact that he didn't win it off of Ciampa. That entire story wasn't about Johnny Gargano becoming NXT champion. That entire story was built around Johnny Gargano righting his wrong, which was allowing Ciampa to become champion.
Yes. Thank you, dude, because it was never about Gargano like reaching that summit. It was about him overcoming Ciampa more than him winning the title. Yes.
And then they were just like, I mean, Ciampa's not there, but Adam Cole's a good makeshift Tommaso Ciampa, right? Let him be the one to put Johnny over.
How dare
work that way?
How dare you use Cole as fodder? Honestly, just the idea that they used Cole as fodder, like everything should just be firebombed. Like,
really, now it's almost like it wouldn't surprise me either. Like, if now they were just like, God, what do we do with Johnny now? And they're just like, do we want to turn this guy? Well, no, I want him to be a big face. Well, do we want to turn this guy? No, I want him to be a big face. Okay, well then, fucking put him against Cole again. But we just had him go, but maybe we should put the title on Cole. But that would be admitting we're wrong. Well, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, fans collectively, look, I'm going to be honest. If any fan would be like, oh, well, by them, and like saying it unironically, by them, putting the title on Cole, they admitted they were wrong. So way to like show weakness, NXT, 0 stars or whatever. Like, fuck that. I will respect NXT immensely if they're like, hey guys, you know what? We wanted to give Gargano the moment because we had a story to tell and we just wanted to punctuate it before moving on to something else. But this is Cole's story now. and this is fresh beginnings. This is like fertile ground we're working with. So
I really do. Hypothesis makes a good point. Gargano reminds him of what Sami Zayn was from 2013 to 2015, and Zayn lost after one takeover, and then he said Cole for the win. I hope you're right. I hope that they treat Gargano the same way that they treated Sami Zayn, and they have him get his big crowning moment, even if it was against the wrong guy, and then give him a very short run and have him drop the title at the next pay-per-view against the heel that should have won it in the first place in this case.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best we can hope for. I mean, look, I just think you have those guys, the tag titles, the world title. Maybe you have Roderick, I don't know, win the fucking North American title. I don't know.
Yep.
But if you have those guys running shit, looking out for each other, that's a fucking obstacle right there. Like that's the thing. Like, I've gotten used to my NXT champions and really just really well booked champions, in general, being obstacles. Ciampa to me was an obstacle because there was nothing he wouldn't do to remain NXT champion. Like, that's what made him so fucking dangerous. He valued that title more than his own life, and that's why I loved his character work as champion. Cole, he's got people watching his back, and he believes he deserves the world, which he's not wrong. But like, that's his thing. And I don't know, you could do like an internal, like, I didn't want them to break up Undisputed Era before they achieved everything that they wanted to do. But if you wanted to start showing tension with Cole as NXT champion, like between him and Roderick, whatever, I don't care. I feel like there's a lot of possibilities with Cole as NXT champion. But if you keep it on Gargano after tomorrow, like if NXT TakeOver 25 goes off the air and we're left with Johnny Gargano as still our NXT champion, I have nothing personally against Johnny. I just don't know what you're supposed to fucking do with that at all. Like, what is next? So yeah, I'm hoping that this is an Undisputed Era takeover. I really am, with the exception of Strong, because like that's not even a championship match. So you have Riddle win that, and then you go into Riddle versus Cole in Toronto. Tell me that's not a fucking like lit fucking NXT championship.
I mean, we already saw that match on NXT TV, and that definitely should be for a title. But like, again, like I want to say, they should have. Frankly, that match should have happened on this show. This show should be main evented by Adam Cole defending the NXT title against Matt Riddle, and maybe even losing it to him. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll have to see, man. We'll really have to, because I think NXT TakeOver 25. Why I said that this has like big ramifications, whether they stay like the conservative route and like no title changes, or they do like the massive UE shakeup, like I'm hoping they do, and tag titles go on Undisputed Era, and NXT title goes on Cole. However this show is going to go, this is pretty much them telegraphing what we can expect from NXT television in the coming months. And I hope it's good. I really, really do. Regardless, I should reiterate, though, that even though I'm focused on Undisputed Era, I do expect the women's division to remain the same because, whether they win or not, I just have Shayna retaining. So that's another thing, too. And I guess then we just move on to the Candice story, which, it's whatever.
I definitely would have preferred Candice be getting this title shot so that Io could have uncrowned Shayna in Toronto.
I'm like, potentially unpopular opinion here. I just enjoyed Candice more when she was doing more intergender wrestling. Like her just purely as a women's wrestler. I don't know why. It doesn't really do a lot for me. Because I think she's a good wrestler. Like she's an entertaining wrestler. But like, I don't know. It just kind of feels off. I feel like, Io should win. Either Io should win here and then drop it to like a heel performer. I don't know if it would be like a heel Bianca or whatever, and then maybe her and Mia like reignite their feud. I don't know.
I feel like I almost forgot about Bianca.
Yeah, because I know she's doing the mini program with Mia, which I found very entertaining.
Right, but what I'm saying though is like if Io wins, Bianca would be a reasonable first opponent for her post Shayna feud.
I'd love Deanna as I mean, dude, we talk about Shayna's like technical expertise. Like, imagine like a babyface Deanna like being like the antithesis to Shayna, but like matching in ability, and they just like go hold for hold. Like,
I'm telling you, man, a babyface Deanna is not going to work unless she changes her in-ring style significantly.
I don't know, man. They have.
I like her. I just think she's adorable, but that's not going to matter when she's in there fucking kicking people's arms out from under the body and like trying to really like ruin their fucking lives, basically.
I just feel like TakeOver 25 has a lot to answer. and we'll see how they answer it come tomorrow night.
And I'm excited to find those answers.
You and me both. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, there's been a lot of doom and gloom on this show, on this preview predictions, but it's almost entirely focused. Like, the doom and gloom is almost entirely focused on Vince McMahon decision making that led to NXT having a much more difficult time trying to put together this show.
Yeah.
Like, I can't give enough positivity to NXT. The writers at NXT, Triple H, who runs NXT, the workers in NXT, like, everyone in NXT has done the best that they can do. Like, is there more that they could have done to make the tag titles feel more important than just, fucking War Raiders are in a match where they get disqualified and then leave the titles behind, and we get 4 random teams picked at seemingly random to go against each other in a ladder match for the titles? I wish there would have been more done about that, but that's the only match whose build I feel has been insufficient. Every other match has had amazing build. Every other match feels like a big deal. Every other match makes sense. So the show itself, we're both fucking stoked about.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Again, like I said, even just looking at it as like a purely, a wrestling card, hype's 9 out of 10. And then when I factor in the emotional investments, it's a 10 out of 10. Like, if Undisputed Era walk away with all the gold, like, I will be.
Yeah, like, to me, the best case scenario here to walk away with this from this show, the best case scenario is Undisputed Era all win their titles. So we've got O'Reilly and Fish as tag team champions, Adam Cole as NXT champion, and surprise here, Roderick Strong beats Matt Riddle. But that's because Velveteen Dream retains and Roderick Strong challenges him on this next episode of NXT for the North American title. He's the only member of Undisputed Era without gold. He wants the North American title. That's perfect. And then Io beats Shayna. Like, that right there, if all those things happen, and honestly, even if Riddle does beat Strong, I would be fine with that too. But if all of those things, if Undisputed Era, Io, and Adam win their respective matches, I'm going to be fucking ecstatic about the results of this show, no matter what else happens.
Right. No, I completely agree with you, man.
Like, there's no result of Riddle Strong or Dream Breeze that would piss me off. They would, like, I love all 4 guys between those 2 matches. And I love the idea of either Dream or Breeze being the North American champion. And I love the idea of Riddle or Strong challenging for pretty much any title. Like, imagine, even if Adam Cole wins the NXT title, Roderick Strong challenging him because of the descent in the Undisputed Era lately. Like, that would be cool as hell. That would work. And, like, you and I were even in agreement that Roderick Strong should have won the NXT title from Drew McIntyre a couple of years ago. So it's not like Roderick Strong being an NXT champion is something that you and I view as wrong or something that shouldn't happen. He absolutely, like, is in that conversation. So, and then fucking Riddle, holy shit, Riddle versus Cole would be incredible. The important things are Adam Cole, Io, and Undisputed Era winning their respective titles. And those are all, like, those are the matches, those are the results that are also the most, like, up in the air about, the least sure about, the least certain about.
Yeah. All right, man. I've really got nothing else to say. I'm just really looking forward to tomorrow. I think live reaction is going to be a shit ton of fun.
Yeah.
Like you, my emotional investment is really just in the championship matches. And, like, I'm obviously emotionally invested in Riddle and Strong, but when we're talking about, like, from a landscape standpoint, like, Riddle could win and they could probably still find a way to get Strong on North American Championship match. And really, it was to elevate Riddle to the main event, which is where I think he belongs. And then Dream Breeze, I think, is just going to be a really fun character match. So, yeah, here's to hoping for an excellent show, and here's to hoping for even more excellent results. And, yeah, I want to thank everybody that came out to watch this. You guys are fucking awesome. And we'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time for live reactions to Takeover 25. So until then, I'm going to hand it over to Ash and take us home.
Hell yes, absolutely. All right. We would appreciate it if you're here, if you enjoyed this preview predictions. Once this video is fully processed, leave a comment down in the comments section with your predictions for what you think is going to happen on this show. We would also appreciate it if you would like this video and let us know that you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the bell icon to get notified, and follow us on Twitter and on Twitch. All those links are in the description, as well as links to our Facebook, which you can like, our Teespring, which you can buy our merch on, our Patreon, which we would appreciate any donations that you're willing to give us. Even $1 will get you extra Q&A questions, $3 gets you into the Discord, which is a lot of fun, and any amount at all will accumulate over time and allow you to request live reactions to wrestling shows of your choosing. So all kinds of perks to the Patreon. And finally, we would also love it if you would share this video and this channel with all of your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. We are TwitWow, and we are the workhorses of the YWC. And guys, workhorses is really, I mean, come on now. We've been killing it with the BOSJ. We've got more BOSJ coming up this coming week. On Tuesday, we are going to be live reacting to BOSJ days of 13 and 14. And then I believe on Wednesday, like the day of, we're also going to be live reacting to BOSJ finals. So that'll be wonderful. That's going to be a lot of fun. And not long after that, the following Sunday, the 9th, we're going to be live reacting to Dominion. So we've got all kinds of New Japan content coming up. We're also going to continue live reacting to, I believe, SmackDown and NXT, assuming the Patreon stays above the $80 mark where it's been. And that's the plan for the coming week. So we hope that you all enjoyed, and we hope that you'll stick around for any and all of the upcoming shows that we're going to be throwing at you. But of course, in order for that to happen, all that we ask is that you remember to stay tuned.